Spoiler alert. Spoiler alert.
Please listen to our episode Urban Legend before listening to this.
This is just an audio addendum to our Urban Legend episode. Audio and visual, actually, as I'm encouraging listeners to go look at a grave possibly belonging to Jay Jolly, the impresario behind the legendary Spook Show we discussed. Immediately after publishing the episode, I heard from a listener in Indiana who suggested, maybe a bit playfully, I'm not sure, that Mr. Jolly could have been buried in that state. I should point out that Danville is actually on the Illinois-Indiana border. If you'll recall, the last we heard of Jolly was from the comments in the Danville Memories forum saying that he had just disappeared, leaving behind a monkey and the body of his chronically ill wife. I wasn't sure how much faith to put in those stories, only because I didn't find anything in newspaper archives about the discovery of the deceased woman, nor did I find any reference to Jolly being in Danville after 1984, when the incident was supposed to have happened, and nor was there any obituary for him in that town's newspaper archives. One thing I did find, however, which I didn't bother mentioning because it didn't seem relevant at the time, was a 1965 wedding announcement for Jolly in which he's identified as Jacob Jolly. The other articles had referred to him as J. Jolly, once merely by the letter J, and twice spelled out J-A-Y. I'm assuming J was the sort of nickname he'd adopted for Jacob. Keep that in mind. So, the listener who contacted me, who wished to remain anonymous, wondered if Jolly might be buried in the town of Chesterton, Indiana, in Porter County. There's a mysterious gravestone there, which depicts a ham radio operator, an interest we know figured prominently into Jacob Jolly's story. The name on the stone is Charlie Jacob Affelder. Not a match, though we do have that name Jacob in there. And in that article about the drive-in sale, we did see Jolly being pointedly cagey with a reporter. So, since we're told Jolly disappeared from town, let's entertain for a moment the fantasy that Jolly crossed the border as Jacob adopted a new last name, continued his obsession with ham radio, died in Indiana, and was buried in the Chesterton Cemetery. While we're at it, we might wonder if his drinking establishment by the name Jolly's comes from the man, or did the man adopt the name of his bar? Jolly's, after all, would be a perfectly fine name for a bar with no surname to inspire it. Maybe his name was Atherton. Well, we're going a bit out on a limb with all this, but the point of the addendum is, after all, for you to go see the grave. Not in person necessarily, you don't need to, because I'm posting an image on our show notes, but you can also just Google it up yourself. Search Chesterton Cemetery and radio. It's not at all the gravestone you would expect. You're picturing perhaps some innocent sculpture of a man with a mic and a transceiver. It has the latter items, but the man depicted, well, I'm not even sure you'd call him a man, as it's more grotesque and contorted than that. There's a tortured evil feeling to it. Something hard to describe, but you can see for yourself. Go look at the grave.